Breaking news right as we enter camp, Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants agreed to a one-year deal, and this is north of the franchise tag. The franchise tag was set at $10.1 million. They added incentives to add up to $11 million. This is great for both sides, and I'm extremely happy because, once again, I've been saying it throughout this whole process, Saquon Barkley is my favorite player on the Giants. I'm just being honest. I love Daniel Jones, I love Dexter Lawrence, I love Andrew Thomas, but Saquon Barkley, since he's been drafted, been my favorite player for everything he does on the field and off the field. And now going into the season with all these different talks and all these different things that were said from Saquon, from the front office, it's all going to be put to rest. Everything's being put to rest. Saquon Barkley's going to attend training camp, and he's also going to be there for the season. And listen, we can hold everything against Saquon and what he was saying, but I've been said since the beginning, that was all just any type of leverage talk he can get. Why? Because that was the only leverage he had. The only leverage he could say is, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to show up. And hopefully the Giants will bite and be like, dang, we want you to show up. Let me give you a contract. Nowhere in the running back market does it show that Saquon should be getting paid around 12, 13 million. They still offered around that number, and Saquon and his agency, which, you know, a lot of people are blaming his agents. I'm going to blame his agents too, because at the end of the day, they should be able to look at the market and they should be able to get the best type of contract for their player. And I think they dropped the ball. But this signing, this one-year contract, in my opinion, shows life for the Giants and Saquon past this year. It really does. Yes, it's a one-year contract. Well, first of all, when the franchise tag happens, you know, and after that deadline passes, you can't agree to a multi-year contract, because if that was the case, then what's the point in the deadline? Apparently, they can still negotiate off of a one-year deal. I'm not no pro when it comes to these contracts. I'm not no NFL insider. But apparently, they can still agree to a one-year contract up to whatever, you know, terms that they wanted. And the Giants felt like, okay, we can still do you right a little bit, add some incentives, and pretty much it's the same incentives that if he hit this last season, which he did. He had all these stats last season. He'll get an extra 900,000, adds that to 11 million. And listen, 11 million is still a lot more than any running back is going to sign to. Look at Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook apparently wants around $9 million, and he still hasn't been signed yet. You know, we'll see what he signs to. But the running back market, we all know, and it's been a debate. It could continue to be a debate. They should be getting paid more than what they are. They should be getting paid more than, you know, what they're valued at. But listen, Saquon Barkley signing $11 million a year is a great deal for Saquon. It is. It's a great deal. And the Giants said, hey, if you can do what you did last season, which you should be able to, as we all know, Saquon Barkley is a great player, a fantastic player. You know, I've seen a lot of Eagles fans, Cowboys fans, Saquon Barkley's your offense. He's your number one reason why you made it to where you are. Well, guess what? He's back on the team. And I want y'all to keep that same energy when we play y'all. Because we all know that when the going was going tough, and Saquon Barkley was playing, and Saquon Barkley wasn't up for a contract, nobody was on him the way they were when the Giants needed to pay him. Nobody was. It was just everybody trying to be bad on the Giants and say that the Giants were doing him wrong. But at the end of the day, no other team is paying you that much. Would one team have probably bit and probably gave him money? Yeah, maybe the Bears. The Bears could have possibly gave him a big contract and had Saquon Barkley added to that team, because at the end of the day, the Bears need something to talk about anyways. Besides Justin Fields, they need something to talk about. So, of course, they would have bit. But no other running back is getting the money that Saquon Barkley is getting with the Giants right now. Nobody was going to give him $11 million, $12 million. The Giants tried to offer it to him, and, you know, nothing worked out. But listen, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focused on the fact that Saquon Barkley's not missing a single day of training camp. Today is July 25th. Saquon Barkley said he will be attending training camp, and he will be there today, which that says a lot about his character, but that also says a lot about the Giants. They didn't want that mess. They didn't want it. And Saquon Barkley could have really said what he said on that podcast, which, once again, after he said this statement, he brought it back. But he said that he could say, F my teammates, F the organization, I'm not going to show up. That's what he said. He said that's the type of leverage that he has. He could be able to say, I'm not going to show up. Y'all do better without me. And listen, I'm just glad that it didn't even reach that point. Not even one bit. There wasn't even one training camp practice without Saquon. Like, that's crazy to think about, because if these sides were really dug in, and if these sides were really just stuck on the point where they're like, hey, you know, we didn't get a contract, and, you know, your season, like the upcoming future might be coming down to an end, he could have not showed up. He really could have. No guarantees that he's going to go out on training camp and not get injured. So why even risk that? You didn't even sign the franchise tag yet. You could chill all training camp and show up for day one for the game. It says a lot about Saquon Barkley's character. This also says a lot about his future with the Giants, but also his future in the NFL. He wants to be one of the best running backs when it's all said and done. Saquon Barkley coming out of college was supposed to be a generational player. So I do think Saquon Barkley is built different than a lot of these running backs in the league. So hopefully he's able to last in this league a lot longer, and I hope that it's still with the New York Giants. Now, going into training camp, obviously we just had a video where I was talking about Eric Gray. It might be Eric Gray running back one season. Well, that's going to tank because Saquon Barkley's back. And is Eric Gray better than Saquon Barkley? No, I was never saying that. But I do think the Giants' offensive approach this upcoming season is still going to be the same. It's going to be Saquon Barkley not getting 30 touches anymore. That's not going to win us any games. It's going to be selected touches, a couple catches, a couple receptions, and ultimately it's going to lean on Daniel Jones. It will lean on Daniel Jones. But how does this make Daniel Jones better? How does it make the offense better? Because you still have to think about Saquon Barkley. You still have to think about the fact that he's in that backfield and he can still do whatever he wants in terms of running the ball. Hopefully this offensive line gets even better after drafting some offensive linemen, after developing some offensive linemen. And listen, we all know, yes, the Giants are a lot more dangerous with Saquon Barkley. I was making videos talking about the Giants offense should be leaning away from Saquon Barkley, not giving him 30 touches, not passing the ball to him 10 times, because we actually have weapons now. Darren Waller, Jalen Hyatt, Paris Campbell, Darius Slayton. We have some weapons that hopefully the defense respects and ultimately has to guard, because you got to choose. Are you going to load the box against Saquon like they did last season and leave everyone out on an island? Because listen, if Darren Waller's healthy, I think he's going to have an explosive year. Possibly our first 1,000-yard receiver in a very long time since OBJ. It only makes it easier for guys like Saquon Barkley and also guys like Daniel Jones. Listen, Daniel Jones running the ball. Do you think he's going to run the ball as effectively without Saquon Barkley? No. All those read options, all those different type of pull plays where, the defense is hoping that they're going to hand it off to Saquon and thinking they're handing off to Saquon, and he yanks it and takes off for 20 yards. It's going to be hard to do that without Saquon Barkley, but I'm just glad we don't have to think about that at all. What this depends on his future. He still could get franchise tagged in the next year. He still could. And it's once again, this is the whole problem with the running back market. But I also want to know what happened in that Zoom call, because Austin Eckler has been speaking out against Saquon Barkley, saying, not against Saquon Barkley, but with him, saying you should take a stand and take one for the team and, get this running back market set right. They had a Zoom call with Najee Harris, Derrick Henry, all these other great running backs. I don't know what was said, but Saquon said, nah, I'm good. And went ahead and signed, and he's not missing a practice. So, I don't know what was said in that Zoom call. I mean, maybe they just came to dead ends with, hey, man, we just got to play, and hopefully he gets better. Because ultimately, once again, he's too young. He's in his prime. You don't want to miss these years. You don't. You don't want to pull a Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell was doing this on the second franchise tag as well, not the first one. You don't want to do that anyways, because clearly that didn't work out, so don't think it's going to work out for you. I'm glad 26 is going to be in New York. I'm glad the drama is going to be over, and we could just focus on the season. And, hey, all this different talk with, hey, we're not going to be as good with Saquon Barkley on the field, we don't have to worry about that, because 26 is here. You guys let me know how you feel down in the comments. Also subscribe. Road to 10K, still active, man. I got more content coming through, especially with training camp taking on, and I think I'm going to be live one time every week. Y'all stay tuned on that, man. Stay tuned on my community post. If you haven't seen my other ones, I got more videos to my left right here. I will catch y'all. Peace.